What's up, loves? It's your girl, Tiffanie T, the Luxury Realtor. If you're new here, welcome. We are here for some more luxury talk, you guys. I'm going to be sharing with you all 3 mindsets or thought processes that you want to have when you're dealing with the luxury client, the affluent, the wealthy. And I will be 100% honest with you guys. I had no idea what to think kind of coming into luxury. And I know sometimes in our ignorance, we can really put a judgment off on a certain type of person. You know, when you think of wealthy or think of luxury, sometimes people may think, you know, the clients may be not necessarily mean, but they may be stern, or, you know, they just may be no nonsense, like straight to the point. And what I'm learning, one, is to just put all of my assumptions aside. I'm going to meet people, learn people just the way that I do in any other space. The only difference really, honestly, with the affluent versus a person who is not or does not have that financial status or that financial caliber is the money, right? And so I want you to think of yourself as a wealthy person who would be a luxury real estate client. And I'm thinking of myself as a luxury person who would be a wealthy real estate client. The personality that I have, the bubbly, the kind, I'm going to be that. I think my level of financial status, affluence, things that I have learned to get to that level, again, may have me asking different questions or looking, because what I have learned about a luxury client is they don't have to, right? Whereas your first time home buyer, sometimes it's like, we have to. I have a client right now who's like, I have to get out of this apartment lease by this time. So sometimes they may, in a sense, have settled for what they had, or I have to use this FHA product because of my credit. Whereas a luxury client is, I want to, right? So just the difference in the thought process, there is a difference in dealing with that client, but it's also so important that we don't put an assumption on the type of client that we're going to work with. Instead, again, we study that class. We study our ideal client. So today I'm just sharing with you guys 3 things that I've learned that I think are really big when it comes to working with that luxury client. So thing number 1 is going to be ease. And what I mean by ease is, again, your luxury or affluent client may be someone who is very busy. They may be someone, again, who is used to even someone else communicating for them. Maybe they have an assistant who speaks on their behalf, or the person who's making their financial decisions may also be a part of the process. So when I say ease, you want to, or at least, I'm thinking about in the past when I've worked with my first time home buyers, and just the clients in that kind of range that I was always in, I gave them, my method of contact. Like, I pretty much always gave them what the process is going to be. And so when I'm learning, again, with a luxury client who may have a in and out of town schedule, again, may be very busy, may have a lot of different moving parts and moving people, is you want the ease to come in and making sure that you're asking them, what's the best mode of communication for you? Definitely on that introduction, meeting, but also moving forward. Is it phone call? Is it email? Is it text message? Is it the assistant, right? Am I talking with the assistant first, and then we're doing our schedule that way? So when you're working with your luxury clients, you definitely want to think of ease, and you want to ask more questions more than kind of giving. Again, that new buyer, the first time buyer, they're kind of like, hey, you're taking my hand and carrying me through this process because I know nothing. Whereas that luxury client who may be a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th time, purchaser, they kind of know, they know what it is they want. And then again, we're moving in their kind of like schedule and their availability. So when it comes to that client, you want to think of ease. And the best way that I can think of that is asking them more questions than kind of telling them. So again, what's the best time for us to talk? Is it mornings? Is it afternoons? Is it evening? What is the best mode of communication for you? Also, so that we're not playing phone tag, right? I think there's nothing kind of like worse than you have like having a big deal or a big deal client, and it's like y'all are phone tagging back and forth because you didn't make this easy on their part and even on your part, and figuring out what they need, the best time, the best mode of communication, and then again, who am I talking to? All right, so thing number 1, mindset shift that I kind of want you to really focus on when dealing with that luxury client is ease, making it easier for you and making it easier for the client. Thing number 2, and again, this is something that I think you should take, you know, from your traditional sales, but again, everything just kind of goes up when you get into luxury. And I always would tell my mentees this. Actually, if you watched my, I did a mentee meetup last, I think like June or July. I actually told my clients this, and that's to treat every client like $1 million client. So I feel like, you know, hey, I was faithful over the few. Now I'm ready to be ruler over much. But the thing number 2 is going to be quality. You want to give, because these people are used to, their money can buy them quality experience. They go to the hotels that are going to give them quality experience. I purchased a Mercedes-Benz months ago, and y'all, I don't know that I could go back to a car that is not luxury, not just because of driving the car, but the experience that I get when I go into the Mercedes-Benz dealership is completely different than when I went to Chevrolet for my tracks. Like, it's just the truth, right? And so they are looking for, and you want to bring a quality luxury experience. You want to think of a concierge, right? So again, when you're dealing with a first-time home buyer, they need everything. It's literally kind of like mom and child, not speaking down on that client. I'm saying the mentality. I was a first-time home buyer too, where they know nothing. So it's like, you got to kind of tell me, show me, and give me everything. This luxury client is not the same. They don't have the same thought process. You literally have to look at yourself. And I believe absolutely we serve our, first-time home buyer clients, our traditional real estate clients. Like I said, I treat every client like $1 million client. So I don't want it to sound like I'm making them less than the luxury client, but there is a difference, if that makes sense. So you want to think of your luxury client as you being a concierge. Now, listen, you want to stand your ground, because they also want to know that I have someone that will negotiate on my behalf, that will go that extra mile on my behalf. But I also want to know that you're here to serve me. You're here to help. Again, you understand I am busy. I do a lot, but I have you in place to represent me as an agent. So again, I just want you to think quality concierge service. And if you have to, you guys, some of the things that I'm literally doing is I'm taking the things that I'm learning in luxury and real estate, and then I'm just looking in a general sense of what that looks like to apply it in my luxury business. So what I mean by that is, when I tell you guys concierge service, what I would do literally is go to Google and look up concierge service. Like, what are some things that they do in a luxury experience? When you're at a luxury hotel, what do you get versus, just a standard hotel? Again, at the luxury dealerships, at the Mercedes, like, what do they do different than other dealerships? And those are the things that I would bring back into my luxury business and when I'm serving my client. For instance, something else that I kind of read up on and I was like, wow, that's great. Traditional real estate first-time home buyers, they usually get their gift at closing, after the closing. It has been suggested that when you meet your luxury client, take them a gift up front and say to them, hey, I see you. I understand your caliber. I understand what you have worked hard for. I understand where you are. And I want you to know that I'm going to serve you with that same level of service that you've gotten everywhere else, right? So again, you want to think quality, and some of the ways to learn that quality is to go outside of real estate, look at the other services that are luxury, that offer that quality that these people may be a part of, and then bring that level of service, that level of thoughtfulness into your business. All right. So thing number 1 is ease. Thing number 2 is quality. And thing number 3 is discretion. And again, I'm bringing this up to y'all because it's stuff that I just had no idea. I had no idea, but I'm loving what I am learning. When they talk about discretion, you want to think about a couple things. Preserving their privacy with, of course, private showings. Now, the good thing about that is, again, that's kind of standard practice, that most times your clients are getting private showings. You may have some people who are open to the open houses. Again, that's why you get to know the client. You don't want to, make assumptions. But again, those private showings are going to be huge. And as I had kind of shared with you guys before, a lot of luxury is done off market. So also being able to do those private showings with them for properties that are not on the market, that doesn't have as much competition, that's huge. Now, this next one, again, I read up on and I'm like, this is major, but we have to be careful not to go too outside of our scope of expertise. And that is helping the client to put the property in an LLC, again, to protect themselves and protect their assets. Now, again, this is something that They probably already have attorneys and things like that on their team, but what your goal is to do is become a part of their team, right? You want to be their realtor. You don't want to just help them get this property. So the goal is, I want to know the attorney. I want to know the CPA. I want to know what we're looking at for your needs and your family's needs for the future. So that protecting the LLC is not something that you yourself is going to do, but it is something that may come up, you know, in conversation. Again, when you're talking to the attorney, you're going to stay in your scope of work, but you want to understand the overall picture of your particular client. And I thought that that was really, really huge just for them to bring out, because again, it's just elevating my mind on what's important to a luxury client. And then also when it comes to discretion, just protection of that property itself. So like I was saying before, really having those vendors, when we talked about the quality experience, having a quality vendor list for your client, and that can help with discretion when it comes to things like what will actually protect the home. Because I'm sure, okay, I am sure the systems, the amount of maybe cameras and things of that nature that's needed for a luxury home is completely different than a first-time home buyer, right? I am in a 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1-bath ranch. Love my house, by the way. And I have a ring system, something that was easy to put up front, you know, and something out back. Whereas you got a client who is a luxury client, the process and the needs to protect that actual home may be completely different. But again, your goal is to learn these things, learn these systems, learn these vendors to be able to bring all of that to the client. So you guys, I really hope that this was helpful. I hope that it is helping to shift your mindset, because it is helping to shift mine so much. Love all the things that I'm learning about the clients that I plan to serve. So again, thing number 1 is ease, making sure that we know how they want to communicate, when they want to communicate, and with whom you will be communicating throughout their process. Thing number 2 is going to be quality, that next level concierge luxury service for your client. And then thing number 3 is discretion, privacy for your client. If this video was helpful, if it did or meant anything to you guys, I want you to like, I want you to comment, and make sure you subscribe. I have so much more luxury coming your way. I'll see you in the next video.